Hello everyone, hope you're all doing great. Today is the first trading day of 2019 and I want to do a quick shout out to everyone who have subscribed to this channel so far. I really do appreciate the support, so thank you again. Now let's jump straight into the videos. Today in after hour market, Apple came out with a very shocking, out of the blue news saying how they will be reducing their revenue guidance for Q1 2019. In this video, I'll talk about the two main reasons why that is. And then at the very end, I'll close off with how the news from Apple will affect all other companies as well. So let's jump straight into a CNBC article where the analyst is saying it's a dark day for Apple. And it really is. Now, specifically what happened was that Apple lowered their revenue guidance to $84 billion, which represents almost a $10 billion decrease from what they had originally projected. Now, the reason why this is important is because there's really two main reasons. Again, China is slowing down, as well as their newer iPhone products are just not as hot as what Apple expected. And the reaction that's happening right now is that in the after hour market, Apple is down about 7% from this big unforeseen slowdown that's happening in China. Now, specifically, this letter here is actually from Tim Cook, who's the CEO of Apple, and I'll post this down in the description below so you can actually read through all of it. As you can see here, he's saying we're revising our guidance for Apple's fiscal 2019 first quarter, which ended at the end of December. And there's really two main reasons. Again, there's emerging market challenges referring to China, as well as lower than anticipated iPhone revenue. So let's start with the main topic, which is China. The China's slowing economy is a real issue here. And the main reason for that is really the China's economy. It really started to slow in the second half of 2018. One thing you might remember is that in one of my previous videos, I talked about how China's GDP number for Q3 actually came out to be 6.5% of annual GDP growth rate. And in this chart here, it just shows you how China's economy is, without a doubt, definitely slowing down, and this is hurting Apple's revenue. Now, but I think it's important to put all this into perspective, right? Like, just because Apple is saying they're going to be making about $84 billion, let's actually take a look at this chart here. $84 billion, as you can see, for the same time period, at the end of December 2017, Apple, this is 1 year ago, Apple made $88 billion. So if Apple is now guiding about like $86 billion for the quarter ended in December 2018, then they're essentially showing that their revenue is not growing at all. In fact, it might actually be a slight -2%, -3% decrease year over year in their revenue, quarterly revenue. And this is not a good sign. And investors don't like any time there is a decrease in year over year revenue numbers. But let's put all this into perspective, right? Like, let's see how big China's market is for Apple. As you can see in this here, I pulled up for you all, is that for the same time period, which is the holiday season, China made up about 18% of Apple's revenue. Pretty significant amount. As well, from previous years as well, you can see that China makes around roughly or contributes about 16 to 18% to Apple's revenue. So the fact that China economy is slowing down is not a good sign. On top of that, I came out with a video yesterday talking about how China's PMI numbers, the Purchasing Managers Index, actually fell below 50, which is a sign of contraction in the economy. So, we have all the evidence out there laid out. China's economy is not doing well, which is pushing to Apple's revenues to not do well at all. And the implication here is that, my prediction is that if Apple is going to be making about $9 billion less in the upcoming quarter, that they'll be reporting, then essentially that 18% contribution from China should actually just get slashed in half, is my calculation. Let's jump to the second reason why Apple's revenue is just dropping. I think partly is because of the newer iPhone models. People just aren't excited about it anymore. As you can see in this chart here, the number of Google searches for iPhones for newer models is just been pretty sad. This is pretty disappointing numbers, and I think part of this is that people just don't feel the need to upgrade. I mean, think about like the newer iPhone 10 products. I mean, they're over $1,000. It's a lot of money. I mean, that's more than like a laptop if you think about it. So, I think these are like the two main reasons that Apple is selling off in the after-hour market. The revenue is disappointing, and this is not just the one quarter issue. In my opinion, this is actually a continued quarter issue, and it should linger on throughout the whole 2019. So let's bring it back to why this will affect you for the rest of the year. And the main reason is because a lot of companies contribute to Apple. And if Apple, your large mega cap blue chip company, begins to fall, that actually shows a lot of weakness towards other companies that supplies to Apple, such as Lumentum Holdings, ticker LIT. I mean, they're down 7% just based on this news. And this is just one example. I think a lot of other like chip makers are also down as well, and it's also dragging the whole technology sector down. So overall, this affects all investors because Apple, if is seen as the number one trophied company out there, if that begins to fall, investors as a whole will begin to lose confidence. So overall, this is something to really keep your eye on to really see how Apple continues to perform. But with that being said, it's not shocking at all given at how China's economy is just slowing down. So again, thank you everyone for taking your time to watch the video. If there's anything you want me to clarify or to talk much more about, feel free to drop a comment. I promise you I'll reply back and I'll share with you my thoughts. If you thought the video was helpful and insightful to kind of go over all of these charts with you, please drop a like. As well, please subscribe to the video if you would like to actually view more of similar ones in the future. So thank you everyone again. Hope you all are kicking off 2019 in the right way. So with that being said, until next time, thank you again for watching and take care. Bye.